just a bubbly, happy, strong individual. She didn't let things get her down, no matter how hard life was, especially growing up. She was always pushing forward, moving forward. She was a very private person. She didn't let her, dirty laundry just fly around. I guess that's not a lot of people that claim to know her. They don't really know the ins and outs of my mother, even those that are related to her. They just don't know her on the level that I do. I mean, I've struggled a lot in my life, obviously, but I've had tragedy in my life, and my mom was just always there.
The argument or the debate or whatever you want to call it of the woman in the CCTV video at Family Dollar, do you think that's your mom?
It absolutely was my mom. The jersey that she was wearing, she's probably had for over a year. It was just something that she would throw on a game day. Saturday was her day to go shopping. I assume that was why she was dressed that way. I wasn't on the phone with my mother. I'm not sure why she was there for the amount of time that she was. I didn't speak on the phone with my mother at all on Saturday. We had exchanged some texts prior that day.
You've come out and said that you believe it was suicide, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what is leading you to that conclusion?
There are key intimate things that were shared with me that I don't feel. I'm not in a place in authority to say things, and no one saw her that day prior. There were actions. My mom was like giving away things that, now looking back on, I'm like, well, that was weird. She had made some comment. It just almost seemed like she was giving me all of her things. And there was some comments that she had made. She had taken that whole week off, the week of this happening off from work. And even when I seen her Friday, because we hadn't seen each other in a minute, I saw tears in her eyes. I'd never seen her that sad. I kept asking her, Mama, are you okay? Are you okay? And she wouldn't even tell me goodbye. Just looking back on these things, to me, I just wish I would have, it's not that I didn't say, hey, Mama, what's going on? Mm-hmm. I think she was dealing with stuff that she didn't burden me with. She's the toughest woman I've ever met, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, or maybe I am biased, but I just never in a million years. I think the reason my mother, the Venmo text read the way that it read was because she knew that I battled with mental health, some pretty serious mental health issues myself, and I think maybe she just said those things to make maybe the acceptance of it easier.
She would never have left you being accused of this, ever.
My mom would be very ashamed.
Yes.
Of people that have cyberbullied me. She'd be rolling over in her grave right now.
When did you see it?
It's about 5 o'clock. I was steam cleaning my carpets, and I had stopped, because me and my mom normally go back and forth all day. I was like, you know what, it's been a minute. I hadn't heard from her, and I don't know. I just had some sort of feeling over me. I mean, to be completely honest, because it was weird. So, I checked my phone, and there was the message. I didn't know what to think. I started calling Steve over and over and over again. I actually went over to my mom's house because, what I had just read, I didn't want to believe. I went over there with him, and I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was screaming and yelling at him, where's my mama? Where's my mama? Where's my mama? And it took a minute for us to both calm down and just to mentally kind of try to process what this is, because neither one of us understood. That's when we called the police.
There are people that say those calls were scripted, like that you wrote them out and that you basically acted out, a one-act play with a 911 operator. So kind of like, what's your thoughts when you hear that?
You're a psychopath. There is something really wrong with this world to try to pick apart. And this is cyberbullying on steroids. All my family turned against me. So I get it. I get thinking, this girl's crazy. I pray that the trauma and the pain that I've had to go through when the police do make this press conference, which they told me that they will, I hope you don't do this to another family. There's just no way I could have come up with all that.
There have been a lot of comments and a lot of questions asking how you beat law enforcement to the scene.
I'm begging and pleading with my mother all night, answer the phone, and just say something. When I woke up and I didn't have anything on my phone, I knew, Amanda, you're going to have to show your butt. You have to show your butt. Get somebody to listen to you. At that moment, judge me all you want, but I didn't think to call roadside assistance. But I did Saturday morning. I first called their call center, and I pretended to be my mother because I thought, hey, if I call these people and I say I'm in trouble, they're going to send somebody else to me. I'm racking my brain. The girl that I talked to, she gave me the rental agreement number, and she said, you're going to have this to speak with roadside assistance. And I hung up, I called roadside assistance, and we kind of got into it. Because I guess they could obviously tell I wasn't my mother. I was like, look, someone's life's at danger. Like, I was saying anything and everything I could to get somebody to listen to me. No, I this is what ended the conversation. I said, GPS my van because I have a tire out on the van. And they tell me, well, this vehicle specifically doesn't have, I forget what they called it, but they said that the van didn't have it. So they could, triangulate where the van specifically was. So from there, I hung up and I called Athens Clark County Police Department. I said, look, I need to see the lead investigator on my mother's follow, disappearance. I don't know the technical terms here, but the lady said there's no one that works on Sundays. Let me get you somebody. Let me get, I'll get somebody to call you back. Yeah, I think he's a sergeant. Very nice man. I expressed to him, and I'm pretty sure that's what you guys heard. I expressed to him my situation. He agreed with me. He took it very seriously. He told me, I'm going to try to keep you updated as much as I can. Yeah, it was about 11 o'clock. I want to say 10:30, 11 o'clock. Sergeant Johnson called me back, and he said, hey, did your mom have a reason to be in Raven County? I then knew something was seriously wrong. I jumped in my car, and I went as fast as I could to Raven County. It's about an hour and a half drive out there. I got another phone call from him. I pulled over. I saw that he was calling, and as I'm pulling over, I look at my GPS. I use Waze. And you know how it shows you where police are? As I'm answering the phone, I noticed that there were two cop cars not far from me. But I pull over, and I take the phone call from Sergeant Johnson, and he says, okay, we found the van, and it's near a campsite, but I can't tell you where it is. I don't know specifically where it is. I get on Google, and I'm Googling campsites. I get back on the road, and I run right into these deputies. I saw the van. I got out of my vehicle, and I'm yelling and screaming. I said, "That's my mama's van. That's my mama's van." I asked the police officer, I said, because I don't know where I'm at. I asked him, I said, "Can I go? I've got to pee." And he tells me, it's just like, anyway, not even a quarter of half a mile, maybe. Well, I did speak with them for a minute. He said, we're calling, he said, we're going to get the canine out here, and then we're also, if we don't find her within a reasonable amount of time with the canine, we are going to get a helicopter out here. So I went to use the restroom. I came back. The canine was there. He was already there. They were maybe in those woods 10 minutes. And the police officer came back and he said, "Come here." And I knew. Yeah, I've argued with him. I even hit his bulletproof vest a few times. I'm sorry. I didn't hit him, but he was just hugging me. I kept was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? How do you know?" And he wouldn't tell me anything. He just said, "Believe me, she's gone." That is all the steps I took.
You weren't at home when you got the call, right? Is that what you're saying?
I was determined I was going to find her. I've been on the other side a few times, but Habersham County really changed my opinion of law enforcement. I got to get this out here, family members, whatever, yada, 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 sit there and say, "Oh, I was there through everything." No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Some of them weren't even in the state of Georgia at the time. George Kaysen, this man took my mother's passing seriously. He was fired up. He genuinely acted like that was his mama out there. The criticism that law enforcement has been given, that had been for me. I've had family members, they didn't understand why no one was speaking to them. Well, maybe it was because I didn't harass them. They had their opinions of me in the beginning, but I wasn't worried about it. I knew that the truth was going to come out, and I told them, I said, "Y'all going to end up apologizing to me." And that's exactly what happened, because of some of the accusations that were made there by family members. They directly accused me of murder. And if I know anything about law enforcement, they're going to take any type of statements that are made, and they're going to follow up on those statements. And we've seen who was closest to her, and this is why we're speaking to you. And, family members wanted to say, "Oh, well, you told them, that's not the case. I will go on here and say, the police don't owe you anything. I don't owe the public an explanation for their actions. They don't, nobody in this world owes you anything." I guess it was about 6 weeks after. Anyway, whenever the memorial was, it was right before the memorial. We had a confidential interview with each other, and that's when me and law enforcement got back on a good page with each other. If you don't believe me, y'all have harassed the cops enough, call them. I don't know what to say to you. Very next day, they're at my house with a search warrant, and that's when I willingly gave my DNA. Andrew actually gave his DNA, I want to say it was either that day or the next day. We willingly gave it to law enforcement. They've been good to me. I think it's a respect thing. It was frozen, but I do know that the GBI, the FBI, they've all been involved, and, recently it's been released to me. So
So,
Annie, oh my goodness gracious, you look like a pterodactyl, sweetheart. But, wanted to say it aligns with my birthday. It's what Andrew owed at a rehab facility. Okay, well, first of all, the charge was related to marijuana. You don't go to a rehab facility for marijuana. Not in my mind. And Andrew was never sentenced to go to a rehabilitation. Y'all, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs made that up. They told, I guess you could call it, a close family. They told her that they were waiting on 2 reports to come back. And I think now, I thought law enforcement had the intention of making this information public, but I had another family member, I guess, was highly upset and offended because no one spoke to them. Again, nothing to do with me. They went out and publicly attacked law enforcement. So I feel like they, just prolonged me being cleared. They don't care. My family does not care. But they handed it off to the FBI maybe just to cross their T's and dot their I's. I hate Andrew. Andrew's a bad person. Let's jump on that bandwagon. Let's do this. Let's do that. When all you've done is taken away, the attention off my mother, which is what should have been the main focus. Just like family members, one of them showed up to the memorial and made it all about herself. Law enforcement reached out to me. I mean, they didn't know when I was having a memorial. How were they supposed to know that? But in the interview that I had with them, the only thing I had asked, and I don't know how it came out, I really don't, but the only thing I'd asked them was I didn't want to taint the day of the celebration. I wanted to leave that Saturday about positive thoughts about, her life and love and, that's the only thing I asked. I said, just please do it after the memorial.
And so they came and talked to you about it and before they announced it?
Yes. So. The day that it happened, law enforcement was like, well, was there mental health issues? Was there mental health issues? No, my mind, I didn't realize my mom's depression was as bad as it was, so I fought them on that. I'd already said there was no mental health issues, which, that brought more attention onto me. I didn't just say, hey, yeah, it's mental health, I wanted it to be investigated thoroughly. That was one of the things my mama promised me. She was like, you're not coming back to Georgia, Amanda. If you can promise me you'll be clean. I don't care what anybody has to say. I made that promise to my mother. I'm going to keep it. There's tons of people that have bipolar disorder, but until you have lived a day in my brain, you don't know what it's like to wake up and not be able to go to work because you don't understand what's going on with yourself. So yeah, I struggled for a lot of years. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in August of last year, and I turned my life around. Nobody else is going to take that from me. I don't care what anybody else has to say. I got a good job in January. I got my life together. Andrew and my mother both supported me. I saved up the money. I bought a car. I saved up money to move to Maryland. I mean, just what drug addict I had $4,500 laying around. I'm not, and I will admit, I struggled there for a second with my substance abuse. I struggled for about, probably from August to December, and I just sat myself down one day and I got help. In my profession, there ain't no way I would come to work high and somebody wouldn't notice. You don't know what it's like to be bullied, be robbed of the emotions that I should have been able to feel, and I wake up every day with some new nonsense. I just, I'm sorry. People are going to think what they want to think. She was just all about trying to make somebody else happy, put a smile on somebody else's face, cheer somebody up. I mean, I've, outside of the memorial or whatever, people, it's only been a few because everybody thinks I'm a killer, but they'd be like, oh my God, your mom, she was there for me. We were so close. She helped, she was a good friend to me, and that's who my mom was. Man,
no.
If she could help somebody, she was going to do it.
I'm sorry. I feel like I don't want to upset you.
She was just, I won't ever meet another woman like her. And Sandy Todd, you are a horrible, horrible person. And I tell you what, you got my address. I would love to give you a real warm welcome. Please. I want to have a family reunion. Please. How dare you disgrace my mother's name? You took away someone that meant the world to my mother. And I am referring to my uncle. You have no room to talk. I'm sorry, y'all.
Acted all alright. Had no need to fight tonight.